All right. Welcome to Code RVA Regional High School. I'm going to take off my mask for presentation purposes only. And staff, it is up to you if you would like to take off your mask while you're presenting. My name is Kumi Goranson, and I have the pleasure of serving as Executive Director of Code RVA Regional High School, which for all of our prospective students, that means I'm basically your principal, but they give me more work to do, so they give me a better title. But that's who I am in this school. And so I'll be starting us off tonight. And then we have a variety of staff members who are here with us as well. And they are going to be speaking to you at different points in the program, and they'll introduce themselves when it's their turn to talk. And so I'm going to kick us off with a few general welcome slides this evening. And Mr. Vest, I think you're driving the slides. Thank you. So first, we're going to start with our mission of Code RVA. Like, why do we exist, right? So this is our official mission statement. The mission is to prepare a diverse population of students for college and careers in computer science through personalized, integrated, and applied learning. And we're going to talk about what that means here at Code RVA, personalized, integrated, and applied learning. And we also want to draw your attention to diverse population. Here at Code RVA, we greatly value our diverse student body. We are a majority of color school, and we serve students from 15 different school divisions. So we believe diversity also comes in from where you live, right? We have students who live in very rural circumstances, students who live in the city, and we welcome all of that. And so we're glad that you're here thinking about applying to Code RVA. All right. So a quick overview here just to start us off. So one of the questions we get asked a lot about is, what is your school year schedule? Because we are a little bit different. So all of you are prospective ninth graders, right? So please know that you wouldn't really be part of our extended school year schedule this summer. But as you get older at Code RVA, depending on what pathway you choose, sometimes you may come in the summer between 1 and 6 weeks. And a lot of that depends on you and your needs, right? And so we have traditional semesters that align. We do have our own school calendar. For all of you who are online right now, you can check that out. It's already been approved and it's on our website. The 22-23 calendar is there. If you're curious and you want to see what that is, that's up there for you. Just go to our About page. I think that's where it's linked in. So we have our school calendar there, but in the summer, we really like to work with students based on their needs. So let's say that you're a student who wasn't academically successful during the school year. We're going to invite you back over the summer to spend more time with us so that we can help make you more academically successful. We also have opportunities if you're on the associate degree pathway, which we'll hear more about tonight, where you may come in the summer to get ahead on some classes. And again, those are choices that students make, right? That commitment to getting an associate degree while in high school does require a little bit more commitment of time. Sometimes that time is also used to help catch up students who maybe come into us without having taken Algebra 1. Sometimes that summertime is used for students. Not all students have the opportunity to take Algebra 1 in 8th grade, and that's okay. We can still take you from not having Algebra 1 in 8th grade all the way through an associate degree, right? Same opportunity for all students if you're willing to put in a little bit of extra work. All right, so we're going to move on from the schedule. And here's something that makes us really unique, right? For all of our parents and guardians in the audience, all of us probably had the same school experience in high school, right? So when it's time for math, we walk into the math class together, we sit down together, we get our worksheet together, we turn in the worksheet, and then we walk out together, right? But at Code RVA, we really believe in personalized learning. So your student will be scheduled for math, and you can see an example here of a Google Calendar. All of our students use Google Calendar. We are G Suite school, so they have email. So what we do on Friday afternoons is we send, all of our teachers send invites to all of our students for their classes for the following week. And they send those invites based on your students' needs in real time. So rather than you just knowing that you're going to go sit with a math teacher, you go and sit with a math teacher for the amount of time that you need to. And we call those classes breakouts, right? Kind of the opposite. You're literally going with the teacher, but you're still breaking out. But so you go and meet with a teacher based on your needs. And it changes each week because we know that in curriculum, sometimes you're going to be really strong in subjects. Sometimes you're going to need more help. So you're divided up, and it's not like, oh, there's an A group, B group every time. There might be, but there could also be an A, B, C, D, E group. Like they're all just moving around in different groups. So students are taught a workplace skill of checking Google Calendar, just like many of us do in our workplaces. We open up our calendar for the day, we see what we have to do. And in those calendar invites, our teachers write down what the students can expect, right? Especially for our ninth grade students, we provide more information. For older students, they may not get as much. But your calendar invite might say, hey, come in and meet with me. We're going to do some practice together for about 15 minutes, and I want you to go out, open up Canvas, and you're going to work on this module. right? So they might have some teacher time, they might have independent time. That invite might say, you're going to sit with me in this classroom. We have to get through this project together. You weren't quite able to finish. Let's work on it. It might be, hey, your group is actually going to work on out in the open space for the whole time during this class period because you guys need to finish your project. So it's always changing. It's very different than what most students are used to, but it does provide them an opportunity to grow in some skills that they may not have in other places, right? Because if you're a ninth grader, you actually are sitting out here, there's adult monitors, but you might be tasked to go out and work with your group. So we teach you how to organize as a group, how to work on a project, and how to accomplish a goal. So that's very different instructionally. But this would be a day in the life for students at Code RVA. And there are 5 rotations in a day if you're curious about that. And you'll hear about those later when we talk about the different subjects that we have. All right, so some key concepts, lots of words here, but we have some untraditional opportunities. You're going to hear about our associate degree tonight. You're going to hear about our internship program, which is unlike anything else that you're going to find at any other high school. You're going to hear about our blended learning model and how we use that. I've kind of touched on that a little bit with how we use in-person instruction plus independent work. And then what I was talking about, organizational strategies, we use, if you're familiar with agile methodologies, that is actually used in the business world to help students organize their projects and to set short and long-term goals. And the next slide, Mr. Vest. All right, logistics. That's going to be you, Mr. Stevens. I thought so. I was waiting for that slide to turn.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Robert Stevens. I'm the associate principal here at Code RVA, and I'm going to touch on a couple of logistics that make sense to us as parents and students thinking about, how they're going to get to school, and also talking a little bit about sports and VHSL. So one important thing to know about Code RVA is that each school division provides transportation to students and families at no cost. So we share with some divisions transportation with Maggie Walker, Governor School. But if you have more, if you want to know more information about how your students will be transported, go to your school's website. A lot of the information is actually up. It changes a little bit from year to year, but if you have specific questions, contact your division's transportation department. Mr. Vest. And as far as VHSL activities, important to know, many of our students participate in sports at their home zone school. We don't have any sports currently here at Code RVA other than esports that we're getting off of the ground right now. But it is your family's responsibility for contacting the home school if any questions. Generally, what you would do is contact the activity director or the sports activities director or the coach for the sport that you wish to play. Same thing goes for band. We can definitely make it happen. We have student athletes from a lot of our far out divisions as well. So if you have any questions, just reach out to them and we'll be able to get you the answers that you need. Thank you.
All right, excuse me. Thanks, Mr. Stevens. My name is Jason Vest. I'm the WorkBased Learning Coordinator here at Code RVA. And in that capacity, one of the things that I focus on is the internship. So let's talk a little bit about that. So first, kind of the why. Well, internship is definitely about learning technical skills, but it's also about making some connections with our business partners around the metro area. LinkedIn did a study a few years ago that found 70% of people were hired at a job where they already had a connection in place. So we're intentional about connecting students in the internship to as many people in the tech industry as possible. We also focus on soft skills. So those employability skills, those human skills that we all know are necessary to being productive at work and then also within teams. If last year hasn't shown us anything, it's definitely shown us that the future of work is here, changing rapidly, and there are no better students in Virginia that are better prepared to navigate these changes than our students here at Code RVA. And ultimately, we're a launching pad for students and families. We are going to prepare them as best that we can, and we can't really rest until we have some sort of admission or enrollment or employment for the next chapter of their lives. So we're intentional about that process as well. So specifically, we offer 2 internships here at Code RVA. The first is in the 11th grade. We have an internship, an IT-based simulator program where students participate for 6 weeks. They rotate through different teams and learn different skills in data, business intelligence, software development, and information security. As Dr. Goran mentioned before, we follow agile methodology, so we're managing our projects and ourselves that way. And again, learning all types of technical and soft skills along the way. And this really does grow students' professional networks, give them something to legitimately put on a resume, that mythical work experience thing. Students are getting that really early in their careers. And at the end of the day, this one's tough to measure, but our students are leaving a little bit more confident, a little bit more self-aware. They're leaving this internship. So fast forward to 12th grade, you've gone through the 11th grade internship, you've had this simulated experience, you have some tech skills now, you have some employability skills, and now it's time to see what you've learned. And this is where we actually pair you and your team with an actual client or business partner in the Richmond metro area. You'll be spending half of your time working with a client directly, reporting to them your progress, and you could be working on anything, the website redesign. We have some students creating a choose your own adventure game right now. And then we also have some students exploring what augmented reality can look like from the students' eyes. In addition to that time, we actually value your own passions and interests. So we support you all. For half of that senior internship, you get to work on something that you are personally interested in, and we provide the technical and sometimes emotional support that goes into bringing that passion idea into an actual project. So I'm going to pause and turn it over to Dr. Ashworth.
Hi, I'm Gwen Ashworth, and I am the lead for the school counseling and special education teams at Code RVA. Really excited that you're with us this evening. So I wanted to take some time to introduce you to some important people around our school that you'll often see smiling, working with students, and just generally doing their best to be available to meet the needs, whatever they may look like for each student that we have. And so you'll see some faces on this screen here. This is our school counseling team. We've got Miss Mincy, who works with students' last names A through F, Miss Sylvester, who works with students' last names G through N, and Miss Katz, who works with students' last names O through Z. And then you may have heard, if you don't mind switching slides, Mr. Vest, you may have heard already a few times the term pathway mentioned. Perhaps you've done some research on our website, or you're wondering, what is a pathway, or what do the pathways look like at Code RVA, and how does that pertain to me? Well, in 9th grade, your counselors will talk with you about your different pathway options. And this is something that really sets us apart from other schools. So in addition to seeking at a standard or advanced studies high school diploma, which every school, every public school in the state at the high school level offers, students here will also select a pathway and go on that pathway throughout their 4 years with us. And so you can see here on the screen the names applied concentration with dual enrollment, and associate degree. And so those are the 3 different pathway options that we offer. And here's a little bit more information about what that can look like. So for the associate degree, it's a very specific associate degree that's offered by many Virginia community college schools throughout their system. We work with J. Sargent Reynolds specifically to bring that to your student. And so it is a total of 62 college credits that they take beginning the summer between 10th and 11th, and then all the way through their senior year. Many of those classes give them not only credits that they need for high school graduation, but also the credits that they would need for that associate degree. The associate degree is called an associate degree of science with a specialization in computer science. So again, it's very specific, and you can get on a Virginia Community College website and look at how that breaks down. But you'll see some information here. The transfer credits certainly vary. If it's a public in-state school, it's more likely to transfer, but 62 college credits is just over half of 120 credits, which is a standard 4-year college degree. So your student, if they went on this pathway, would be completing essentially half of college while still in high school, which is really unique, really rigorous, and certainly something to be proud of. Now, in order to qualify and become eligible, there are certain requirements that their counselor and J. Sargent Reynolds will work with you on to do our best to help any student that's interested become eligible for those classes. And one of those is that Algebra 3 with trigonometry or pre-calculus, the same course. So getting students up to and through Algebra 2 with some pre-calculus concepts before beginning on those college math classes is really important. You'll see over on the other side, it says applied concentration with dual enrollment. And so this shows you if you were to say, the associate degree is not for me, but I certainly still want to take some college level classes, then we offer that. That's another pathway. We call that applied concentration with dual enrollment. And you would receive up to 30 college credits. Again, the transferring varies. If it's a public in-state school, easier to transfer. That certainly doesn't mean that for private and out-of-state schools, the credits wouldn't transfer, but we're finding it really varies from school to school. And so this is a true hybrid model. You take some classes in 11th and 12th grade that are just for high school credit. You take some that are for high school and college credit at the same time. And so you're getting a blend of that experience. And so this pathway does allow for additional electives in the computer science realm, and certainly more creativity with what computer science electives that you take during in high school. Whereas when you're on the associate degree, you are locked in to a really specific course map. We have those on our website. So if you're hearing me talk now and saying, I want more details, that's great, but where are the details? Or your brain works like mine and you like to see things mapped out, fantastic. Please go to our student services section of our website, and you should be able to be linked in to updated course maps for what that would look like for you and your student. Certainly also, you're welcome to reach out to myself or any of our school counseling team at any time with specific questions. Lastly, if your student went for the applied concentration without dual enrollment, that means that they're seeking their high school degree. That can be, again, a standard or an advanced studies diploma, but they're opting not to take college level courses. We have students on all three pathways that are very happy. And like many things in life, it really comes down to each individual student and figuring out what's best for them and their needs while they're with us. And so that's something that we certainly take pride in and work really hard to do. And we're excited that you're considering going on that journey with us and your student. Next slide, please. Now, if your student is a student with an IEP or a 504, we just want you to know that we collaborate with each of their home high schools to provide the accommodations, supports in the general education setting here at Code RVA. And so again, that can look a little bit different from student to student, but please rest assured that if you apply and are accepted and decide to come here, we will work with your team back home to make sure that all the supports that you need are here at Code RVA, and that we do our best to work with you in that way. And then our team, we have an awesome team here, and you can tell by their excitement in their picture there. But we have Miss Giovanni, who works with students last names A through C, Miss Stone, who works with students last names D through L, Miss Dow, who works with students last names M through R, and Mr. Hildebrand, who works with students last names S through Z. So that's our student services team. We're excited to meet you. Hope to see you in the building sooner than later. And if and as questions come up, don't hesitate to reach out to me or any of us. We'll do our best to get back to you as soon as we're able. Up next, I believe we turn it back over to Dr. Goran and or Mr. Stevens to talk about curriculum and instruction.
Thank you. That will actually be me for this slide. If you can go to the next slide, Mr. Vest. This is actually one of my favorite slides in the presentation because it actually tells you about one of the questions we get asked in most of these presentations, which is what sets us apart from other schools. A lot of people like to bring up another school in the area that specializes in computer science, but we are the computer science high school in the state of Virginia. And our instructional model is the thing that really sets us apart because there is really no school in the state of Virginia, probably not even the country, where your student will be offered all of these things, many of which, if not all, you've heard about tonight or you will hear about tonight. But there's no computer science school where we integrate computer science throughout all of our courses in our curriculum where your students will receive that personalized attention in the classroom. And without, with a population of approximately 350 students, you can't get that personalized attention anywhere else. All of our students know our teachers and administration, and everybody has at least one or two go-to people in the building. Dr. Goran spoke a lot about our blended instruction, and our teachers are really and truly top-notch. They've really mastered the art of blended learning. We can tell you about how we were doing blended learning before the pandemic and how we were able to flourish in the pandemic and transition seamlessly, honestly. And at this young age, your students are able to build that skill set of being self-directed. They learn that independence at a young age. So these are skills that they can take with them into the work world. They can take with them to 2- and 4-year universities once they leave Code RVA. And then our dual enrollment program. Many schools in the area offer dual enrollment and you can get college credits, but this is one of the only programs where you can actually receive that associate's degree. So if you decide to sit through the entire or go through the entire dual enrollment program as a full DE student, you will receive that associate's of science degree in computer science that Dr. Ashwell spoke about. And then you also receive 2 internships. Mr. Vest told you about our great internship program. So again, looking at our instructional model, our teachers are going to tell you a little bit more about their subject areas in just one moment, but there is no school like this in the state of Virginia. So we'll move on to the next slide. As we transition to talking about our content areas, just want to talk about our 4 contents, humanities, and we'll have Ms. Vanderroos tell you about how we teach English and social studies, and we bridge it into one course where students can get 2 credits for one course. Ms. Powell is going to tell you about our science program. We have Ms. Cooper here as well. She's going to tell you about our mathematics. And we have Mr. Ellis, who's going to tell you about our 4th core course, computer science, which at Code RVA is a core because that program is so near and dear and important to our existence. So I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Ellis and go on mute.
Thank you, Mr. Stevens. Good evening, everybody. My name is Timothy Ellis. I'm one of the computer science teachers here, and really shout out to Mr. Stevens and Dr. Goran for really emphasizing computer science as one of the 4 cores here. It's truly amazing to see such a wide variety of different courses available to students in a variety of different fields as well. Now, you guys are, as prospective 9th graders, are going to have a kind of a unique opportunity, excuse me, to take a course called AP Computer Science Principles. This is a broad view of many different areas of computer science, both in coding and in things like internet structure and digital information and data analysis, many different fields that all fit into the umbrella of computer science to help you identify the areas where you are particularly interested. We do culminate with the AP exam presented by College Board that if you get a qualifying score can, like the DE courses, be used to transfer for some of that college credit. Once you get up into the higher grades, you're offered with a lot more opportunity to choose and personalize your own subject area. So if programming is really something that you're interested to do, in 10th grade, we have a Python course. We also have another AP Computer Science course that's in Java. But if programming is not your thing, we still have lots of computer science courses to take, like a hardware and networking course, and upperclassmen are welcome to take courses in cybersecurity, game design, web development, and advanced programming, which covers a kind of a broad gamut, again, of different types of things like data science. If you are on that dual enrollment pathway, be it the applied within dual enrollment or the associate's degree, I think Dr. Ashworth mentioned that your course path is a little bit more well-defined in DE Computer Science 1 and 2, Computer Organization, and Discrete Structures. We are piloting a program where our students in our computer science courses are eligible to test for professional level and recognized certifications. This is in our hardware and networking program through PC Pro, and our Python class doing the PCEP entry-level Python programmer certification. These are the computer science courses that we offer. However, we are always open to discussing more and new interesting topics. From here, I think we're going to turn it over for the Humanities department with Ms. Vanderoost.
Hey everybody, I'm Christy Vanderoost. The students call me Miss Vandy. So awesome to have you all here. I just want to say that my husband works in the industry and he is doing that same Python certification that Mr. Ellis mentioned at home at night after my children are in bed. So the fact that students have the opportunity to get that certification here in high school is really awesome, especially like from my own personal experience. So humanities at Code RVA is a little bit different from what you might experience in a typical middle school or in a traditional high school. What we do here is combine English and social studies into one 2-credit course. This really provides students the time and the space to take computer science as a core class. So we really value that here. So each class is worth 2 credits towards students' GPA, but wonderfully so. English and social studies really blend seamlessly together. So we're able to blend the two well and offer students the opportunity to delve a little bit deeper into each of them by balancing them together. I personally teach Global Studies 1, which is the 9th grade course. We blend English 9 and World Geography for that. And that class students get to learn fun things like why is Miss Vanderoost's map upside down, if you notice that behind me. Our 10th graders take Global Studies 2, which is a blend of English 10 and World History 2. Then our Applied Pathways students take American Studies in 11th grade, which blends American literature and American history essentially together. And 12th graders on that applied pathway take American Studies 2, which blends English 12 and government. So those are fairly standard. That's a fairly standard course progression, whether you're a student or whether you are in a traditional high school or at Code RVA. Our dual enrollment students have a pretty defined pathway for the courses they need to take. In 11th grade, they have 3 English classes and 2 history courses, and then in 12th grade, 2 English classes and 1 history course that covers much of the same topics. It's just at a kind of college level. So we are, I hate to say it to all the other teachers, but the humanities team is the best team at Code RVA. We're really proud of what we're able to bring to students. We love our curriculum. We love our students. Sorry, no shade to the other departments, but go H team. And so now I'm going to pass it over to Ms. Cooper and Matt.
Hello, everyone. I am Emily Cooper, part of the True Best department. You were too early, Miss Vandy, to throw that out there. And I teach math. This year I'm teaching Algebra 2 and pre-calculus, but it can change year to year. Depending on your 8th grade experience. So if you are currently in Math 8 or some sort of equivalent of that, you'll see on the left-hand column here, in 9th grade, you'll take Algebra 1 here, you'll take Geometry in 10th, Algebra 2 in 11th, and Pre-Calculus in 12th, which is also a fairly standard course progression. If you are currently in Math 8 or some sort of pre-algebra equivalent, like Dr. Goran said at the beginning of the presentation, if you are interested in being on the associate's degree pathway, we will work with you. Your counselors will talk with you in around this time next year to think about if that's something that you're interested in pursuing. And we will work with you to take care of Algebra 1, Geometry, and Algebra 2. So 3 math courses in 2 years using our summer session and using our school year, of course, and the blended learning so that you can be prepared to go into those dual enrollment classes as a junior. It is accelerated. It is also very doable. So on the right-hand side is different districts have different things. So on the right-hand side of this list, if you're currently in Algebra 1, then you'll start Geometry in 9th grade, Algebra 2 in 10th. If you do not do, and then pre-calculus in 11th and calculus in 12th grade. If you're going to do the applied or applied with some DE classes. If you do the associate's degree and you're entering 9th grade with geometry, then you will just do geometry and algebra 2 with us. And then you'll move into your dual enrollment courses for your junior and your senior year. And there are some asterisks on the side. So if you are currently in geometry, so you're taking it right now in 8th grade, then you will start algebra 2 as a 9th grade. There are also some people who are currently in algebra 2 in 8th grade. If that is the case, then you'll start pre-calculus in 9th grade. So wherever you are along this pathway, we will pick you up. That's where you'll start in 9th grade, and we will be with you for the rest of your math journey. And again, that can be a little bit compressed and accelerated if you choose to do the associate's degree or not, if depending on what pathway works for you and for your family. All right, so that's our math experience. It's an amazing experience, but I will go ahead and kick it over to Ms. Powell for our science courses.
Good evening, everyone. Hello. I believe the saying is save the best for last. So science department joining you here. I am teaching chemistry this year, but in previous years, I've also taught biology and ecology as well. As previously stated at Code RVA, we combine both online and face-to-face instruction to meet the needs of today's ever-focused on technology students. So at Code RVA in science, we do this through both virtual and hands-on lab experiments, digital notebooks, and additional collaborative and personalized activities. So we have a fairly, as Ms. Cooper said, traditional course progression here for our students in science. All students in 9th grade will take biology, and then in 10th grade will take chemistry. In 11th grade, students will take physics, and then in 12th grade, seniors will take astronomy, ecology, or dual enrollment biology 101 and 102. All right, and that wraps it up for science. I'm going to pass it back to our administrators.
All right, thank you, Ms. Powell. And I can say as one of the 2 administrators and instructional leaders at the school, all of our departments are equally amazing. So I just want to give kudos and shout outs to all of the departments because you all are amazing. You heard about our core courses, but what about our electives? So we do offer online electives. We have here listed all of the world languages that you can take: American Sign Language, Arabic, Chinese, French, Latin, Spanish as well. And these courses are currently being offered through Virtual Virginia. So your student will have time in their schedule to take this course along with health and PE 9 and 10, as well as econ and personal finance, which is a graduation requirement in the state of Virginia. So we offer students a time on their schedules called PLT, or personalized learning time. Every student has 1 rotation per day where they are where they have time set aside so they can work on these courses. If students don't have any online electives on their schedule or other things to work on, they can actually use this time to work on assignments for their blended courses as well. And as a parent and as an administrator, I can tell you it makes a difference in our students for limiting the amount of homework that they actually have to do. So they have time built into their day where they can actually complete a lot of their schoolwork. So at least less stress in the afternoons. I know many of you all are busy, so it really helps with that work-school life balance as well. So that's one of the things that we offer for our students. Moving on to the next slide, please. Now, for lottery application information, many of you have asked about our lottery process. So our lottery process is really simple, and I'll get to the dates in 1 second. One important thing to note, again, is the simplicity of our application. It's not require any essays, a certain GPA to be admitted to Code RVA. There are no interviews. All you pretty much have to do is complete 15 minutes or less. The application pretty much entails a lot of demographic information and information about your career and school process. And what this helps us to do is make it easier, 1, to contact you all after you accept it to the school, and then 2, make sure that your student is being placed into the right courses. So we do have a weighted lottery controlling for socioeconomic status, as Dr. Goranson spoke about a little bit earlier. As far as the dates, as soon as the winter break is over with, our application opens on the first day, January 3rd. All you would need to do is click on the Code RVA website, which we're going to show you in just one moment, coderva.org, really simple. And then complete this application. Again, 15 minutes or less, you can get it done. Application closes February 18th of 2022. So you have a little bit over a month to get this done. And then we'll start notifying families on March 11th. Generally, we ask that you let us know whether or not you plan to attend Code RVA or not by the 25th, because what happens then for each family who denies the opportunity to go to Code RVA, we know is not the jam for everyone. You may be interested in music, but you have an interest in computer science as well. So that's totally okay, because what that does is open a slot for the next person. And then we could continue to go through each lottery slot and each division's number or account or students that they have, or opportunities that they have, or spaces for students, until we run out for each division. So we'll do this up until September 30th. If you accept it, you will receive an email from us as well as your school counselor. Important note about school counseling on the next slide. So again, prior to completing the application for a lottery, just make sure your current middle school student ID and your current middle school counselor email address is accurate as well, because we want to make sure that we're not leaving any student out. We want to make sure that your application gets through the verifier as well, so there are no hiccups in your application. And I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Goranson to bring us home. Okay, Dr. Goranson is in the back. I think she's taking care of something. However, is she back? She can't hear us, or not sure what's going on, but I'll continue to wrap it up. So one important thing to share is, okay. Is that better?
Yes, I knew this was going to happen, and I was just kind of waiting. I'm sure there's nothing weird. This is probably like a trick, like, oh, let's meet the boss. We're so tired of hearing her. We're just kidding. All right. So yes, so our website, coderva.org, is a great place for lots of information. We also have lots of social media accounts, kind of ranked in order of how quality it is. I would say Twitter, then our Instagram and our Facebook. TikTok, low quality. Don't encourage you to look at that. But we're trying. All right, we're always trying. So check us out on social media. Definitely go to our website if you want to learn more about us. And our next slide, that might be the last one. That's our Q&A. All right, so this is our favorite part of the night. First of all, I do want to thank our teachers who stayed here with us and or came back and or brought their small infants to keep working at night. Thanks, Dr. Ashworth, for bringing your future raptor here to the school. So this is our time for question and answer. So staff, if you would like to stay, you're welcome to stay and hang out. But also I know you have an early morning tomorrow teaching. So teachers and staff, if you would like to go, you're welcome to go. Mr. Stevens and I are going to do the question and answer part. Mr. Stevens loves producing the questions for me and then putting me on the spot to answer. This is where I go back on mute. So I'm like, oh, I can't answer these really difficult questions. Just kidding. JK, Mr. Stevens, you ready? What do we got here?
I believe so. And I'm going to start because I know we answered some of these. So as we go down the list, if we didn't get to your question, feel free to unmute and ask questions. Also want to share, Dr. Goranson, if anyone in the audience has questions as well, just to let you know, we want to make sure we don't want to forget about the people who are actually here. If a student is currently in VLA, which counselor email? Oh, I think that's Virtual Learning Academy, the VLA or the homeschool one. So I think that would be the homeschool counselor.
Yes. Like whoever, if you weren't in the VLA, because I think the VLA, is that just Henrico? I don't think that's common to everyone.
Yes, I believe so.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. That was easy.
Can you go through the lottery application again? Just
Sure. Sure. So on January 3rd, our lottery application opens up. It takes about 15, 20 minutes at the most for a parent and guardian to fill out. The email addresses you use are extremely important because that is the only way you'll find out if you got in or not. So it's very important for you to make sure you put in an email address correctly that you know that you're going to check. And it does ask you for like 1 or 2 email addresses. So if you and someone else in your household has another email, you both will get it. So essentially you just log in. It's a Google form, super simple, like filling out a survey, basic information about your student, where you live, what grade level they're in, what math they're taking right now. If they're taking a world language, what world language are they taking? Would they like to take a world language? If so, what is that? Ask you a very broad question. Does your student have an IEP or 504? Do you have any other special accommodations that we would need to know about? That's just so that if you are accepted and if you're offered and you do accept, it makes it easier for us to make sure that we ask you specific things like, hey, you put this, you need this. It just speeds up our process a little bit. So once you apply, right, we have that application window open through February. And then once the application window closes, it is 100% closed. There are no exceptions to that whatsoever. We have a third-party vendor who runs our lottery system. So all of everything is locked at that point, and then they run the lottery. And so the lottery changes based on the number of seats that your school division has. And so some of the smaller school divisions have less seats. That is up to the division, however many seats that they purchase. We always encourage them to purchase more, but certainly that's up to each school division. And then the larger divisions, however many there are. And it's based on different things. It's based on how many kids are graduating, is how many seats are available. It could be based on like somebody's parent just gets a job somewhere else and they move. So then there's just a random seat that opens up. Sometimes Code RVA isn't the right fit for students, and that's okay. So sometimes students come here and then after a year, they go back to their home school. Totally fine. You're not a captive, I promise. So students can go back. We find most students don't, but that has happened before. And so there's different reasons for seats to open up. So it's really tough. People always want to know exactly how many seats are available for my school division. And we really can't tell you because we can't possibly predict all those different factors that go into how many seats. I will say, I think somebody had asked about how many people applied. Last year we had, I think almost 400 applications for what ended up being 90 seats. Right. So it is competitive, but you only compete against people in your own school division. Right. So, for example, if you're from a smaller school division, you're not competing against Chesterfield and Henrico. You're just competing against the students in your own school division. So hopefully that makes sense to you. So that is really the lottery process. And then again, we notify the first round March 11th. They have until later in March to accept or decline. And then after that, we run the lottery about every week and a half to get more students in. So we're constantly emailing. And it may be that you get accepted and you decided I'm going to a different specialty center. I changed my mind. No worries. Just email us back and say, I declined. Thank you, though. And we move on, no problem at all. Don't feel stressed about that. It's always better if you're sitting here and you're thinking, I think I want to apply, but I'm not sure. Go ahead and apply. It really doesn't hurt you. And the worst thing that could happen is that you just tell us no. And it's totally fine. No worries. All right, Mr. Stevens, I think I hit everything, hopefully.
You did. I'm going to answer 2 quick questions, somewhat related. Again, the lottery application is the only way to be accepted to Code RVA, just to drive that point home. And then we only take students through the 9th grade. So you cannot be accepted into 10th grade or higher grades if you're not accepted this school year. I have a question from someone asking if you can go directly into the dual enrollment program as a 9th grader.
No, so our dual enrollment program, it's not available really at any school. You go in when you choose your pathway in the winter of your 9th grade year, but you don't actually start your coursework until the summer after 10th grade. And so there's a couple 1-credit courses you have to knock out before you really dig into your dual enrollment courses. And then that 11th grade year is really when you start taking those. And that's important because we want students to have a good foundation before they launch into college credits, right? You might be the most brilliant student in the world, but there are some developmental things that you have to go through to kind of get you ready mentally there for your college, your pseudo college experience while you're in high school. So no, you can choose your pathway, but you don't physically start your courses until summer after 10th grade.
Thank you. If I just lost my question, I'm sorry.
Do we have any questions in our room?
Yes.
Those were quick head nods. No. Go ahead.
All right,
Yes, ma'am.
so
No, we've got a couple of the students.
Okay.
My first question, so I'm not really familiar with a lot of the process here. Was this about a random thing or
Sure.
based on how many seats is in your county or your area?
It's both. So the question is, another question about the lottery, is it random or is it based on the number of seats in your school division? It's both. So let's say that you live in Dinwiddie County, right? And let's say that there's 2 seats open and 10 students apply, right? Just think about it like putting names in a hat. We shake up the hat and we just choose 2 names at random. So there's nothing that you can do to make your application like better or worse. It's just random out of that. And so then if those 2 students say no, we would shake up that proverbial hat again, pull 2 more names out. One of them says yes, one of them says no, do the same thing again, shake it up, take 1 more name out. And so you're just competing against those students, but it's completely random inside of that. Did you have a second question? Sure. Yes. Great question. So the question was, we know that we can do VHSL activities like sports at their home school, but do they do their other activities like say prom through here? So yes, we're excited. Fingers crossed this year we'll host our first ever prom. We didn't have juniors and seniors when the school first opened. And so we had to wait to get to that point. And then of course, #COVID. So we haven't quite had a prom yet, hopefully this year. So students, the only thing that you do back at your home school is your VHSL activities, which would include sports or band. So again, you work on those with your homeschool division. Everything else is here. So again, if we eventually ever have homecoming dances, we joke, we don't really have a sports team to do homecoming with, but we sort of pick a week in the fall that looks nice, and then we do our own thing. We do have things like our PTSA hosted a fall festival this year that was outdoors at the park here in the city. And then we'll be hosting prom. We do 1 to 2 times a month, we host flex days. And what that is we know that our students, 99% of them travel on the bus. So a lot of them can't do clubs. We don't host after school clubs typically. So what we do is 1 to 2 times a month, we have flex days. And in the morning, our students have time to catch up on their work. Then we have lunch. And then in the afternoon, we have 3 rotations of fun activities. So tomorrow is a flex day. So students get to sign up for what they'd like to do. And just an example, Ms. Cooper, who you heard from earlier in the math department, she helps coordinate our flex day. So some of the things we'll be offering are esports, which obviously people are really into that around here. So we have casual esports and we have competitive esports on an actual team. So we do that. We're going to show a movie. One of the teachers is because of the Spider-Man movie coming out. So she's going to do a showing of the first Spider-Man movie. We have a reading club, Legos, we have art club. We have anime, we have an actual sports group. We partner with SCORE around the corner so our kids can walk to SCORE with the teachers and they play football, soccer, kickball just for fun. It's not like a team, they just goof around. They take it more seriously. I shouldn't say goof around, they take it very seriously, but the teachers are having fun. So we have that. We also have Ms. Powell, who you heard from, the science teacher. She sponsors Board Gaming is Life. So we have a board gaming group. We have yoga. We have Mr. Stevens, anything else? What else am I missing? SCA, National Honor Society, Computer Honor Society, a school newspaper / television studio, like television program. Trying to think of the people. We have Magic the Gathering, the club, retro gaming. We have like all sorts of
TKLC.
TKLC, which is like thinking, knowing, learning, like a philosophy club. Yes, and then coding, yes. So we have all those. So all that said, we do all of our activities. And so the students get really excited about flex days. The day before Thanksgiving, we hosted puzzle day here, which is an entire day of just solving logic puzzles. And we had pizza. And one of our teachers is a DJ. So we had like really loud music the whole day. It was amazing. Felt great for me. But we had a good time. So anyway, so all that. So yes, lots of things happen here. Right? So got that one. And then you had a question. I'll go back to you, Mr. Stevens.
Yeah, I was just asking, you kids come to school every day, Monday through Friday, so there's no like at home virtual days or how does that work?
Great question. There was a question about, do we come to school every day at Code RVA or are there at-home virtual days? So we are full 5 days of instruction as required by law in the state of Virginia. So we do full 5 days of instruction. We do have student work days, which align with our teacher work days. So that's usually at the end of a marking period where students can catch up on, say, virtual Virginia language courses, their health and PE course, economics and personal finance. They might be working on those, but our other classes or, teachers are grading things. So that would be an at-home day. Of course, we have inclement weather days, just like anybody else. We do not offer what they call parallel teaching virtual options. So it's not like you can be at home and Zoom in. We don't do that anymore unless something horrible were to change. But yeah, we're all here every day. Yes, good question. All right, Mr. Stevens, back to you. Got one?
Yes. So for electives, family had a question about whether world languages are our only electives that we offer here at Code RVA.
Yes, and so we do for now. That's all we're offering students. That is fully virtual. It is, it can be challenging for some students, just depending. You don't have to have a world language if you choose the standard diploma. We encourage students who would like to pursue a language to go ahead and try it in virtual Virginia. There's no cost to families or anything, but that is our only current elective. And then we count more of our clubs and activities as those fun things that they get to do. But during the school day, because of transportation, we only have like 6 contact hours with students. So in that, we focus primarily on their core instruction.
Thank you. How many students are currently in each grade level?
There's 344 in the school. There's 68 seniors. And then whatever 344 minus 68, I think there's 70 something in junior class. 10th grade's the biggest, maybe 113, 80-ish in ninth grade. I don't know. I don't know. 344.
I think we may be under 100 for the 10th grade class now. But
I can't.
Yeah, it's pretty accurate. Small school, it's starting to balance out. A couple of years ago, we had a really large 9th grade class, but it's starting to balance out as we near closer to graduation. Our first 2 graduating classes were 35 and 31 students, but I'm not sure if that question was alluding to actual class size, but actual class sizes here tend to be around 25 students per class. However, with that 25 number, which is a bit large, for those of you that's in the building, you can actually see that our classrooms are really small. So with our blended learning model, you may actually only have 12 students in that rotation or that breakout rather, where you visit the teacher. Sometimes it's 1-to-1, sometimes it's small groups of 5, but we really focus on that personalized learning and that small group instruction. So we have definitely moved away from the model of 25, 30 students to 1 teacher.
Right. Yes, 25 was a very large class here for us, but it's even broken down more than that. That's good. All right. Next, Mr. Stevens.
So it's a question about transportation. How is transportation coordinated with different counties having no school and different days?
Mr. Stevens, you're in charge of transportation.
So,
I don't want to answer.
Someone on this call that's speaking right now works really hard with all of the individual transportation departments for our 15 partner and school divisions. We share our calendars with them. They share their calendars with us. It varies from division to division. Some days when the local school divisions are closed, our students will have a work from home day. But generally, they work with us to transport students on most of the days that we're here in person. Sometimes the divisions will have a 2-hour early release, and that won't really impact our students. If there's an inclement weather day, sometimes they transport students depending on how dangerous the conditions are in the localities. Generally, we kind of watch what the big 4 school divisions are doing and make sure that our students can be transported here to Code RVA safely. So I wouldn't really worry about that part too much. Most of it's taken care of.
And I will say, Mr. Stevens, since you mentioned early releases, that is one thing about Code RVA. We don't do any early releases or late arrivals really, because there's no point when you're driving, if you're coming from Cumberland, right? By the time you get here, you're turning around again. So it's not logistically possible. So we really just do full days of instruction or you're at home. So on inclement weather days, there's really not going to be a situation where we call typically. I mean, I guess there could be, but rarely are we going to call like a delay. We're just going to have to make a decision one way or the other.
Oh, sorry. The big four school divisions are Richmond, Henrico County, Chesterfield, and Hanover. We say things so much, sometimes we forget about.
Yes. There are four biggest contributors, if that helps you understand why we say that.
Another Mr. Stevens question. What is security like here? And do we participate in lockdown drills, et cetera? So I can say that our school division, our school is a very safe, very student-friendly environment. Dr. Goran and I both come from large schools and large school divisions. And the experience at Code RVA is far different than anywhere that I've ever worked. Our students all feel like this is a safe place to be, as far as drills and participating and practicing those things. We do follow, actually we go far and above what the state and what the state requires. So we have lockdown drills, we do fire drills, tornado, earthquake, and all of that. And we do drills monthly to make sure students know how to evacuate and to respond to emergency situations accurately and quickly. And I had a question pop up. What are students doing after graduation? Are most going to college and majoring in CS or going right into the industry from their internship experience?
Again, because the school started very small, when it started in 2017, they accept those the first year. So in order to grow the school, they did accept that 1 year, 9th and 10th graders. The school started with 6 staff members and 90 students. Of those 90, we've graduated 66 students. And so they've already gone on. Out of those, again, super small sample size, it almost matched out to be like a third, meaning a third going into college, a third going into career, and then a third going into a mix of, military, technical centers, things like that. So it sort of breaks down that way. So we're looking forward to this year when we have 68 graduates to see where do most of them end up going. It's a little early in the year for us to know exactly where all of our students are going to go, but we're fortunate. We try to maintain close contact with our families and find out before they leave where are you really headed. And then certainly we work with a variety of business partners here in the Richmond area, the goal being to get students employment. If that's something that they want to do. The idea of going right out of, high school and into the majors in computer science is going with a high school degree or an associate degree and moving right into a business. And we do partner with huge businesses, big businesses, Capital One, CarMax, Facebook, Altria, all sorts of places locally. And then we also partner with lots of small businesses as well.
Thank you, Dr. Goran. And I know we're coming close to an end, and I know you're going to wrap up by saying like the actual lottery dates and where they can find the applications as well, and just reiterating that, how we accept students and just the timelines and whatnot.
Sure. Let me get one of my, I'm going to get one of my in-person questions, and then I'll loop back to the lottery. And I don't know if Mr. Vest can hear us. Maybe you could put up the screen, the picture of maybe the lottery dates. But yes, what's your question?
This might be on your website.
That's okay.
But what is required for the students to bring into 9th grade with them? Do they need a Windows computer? Do they need an iPad? Do they need?
Great question. So one of our questions is what is required for students to bring in terms of technology into 9th grade? So nothing is the answer. We actually have a pretty small supply list, trying to help out parents. Usually all you need are like headphones, earbuds of some type, but all of our 9th graders get Chromebooks upon entry, and that is so that it's the same device or similar to what they had in 8th grade. But then when you go into 10th grade at Code RVA, we start issuing laptops. So 10th, 11th, and 12th graders all get laptops. And we do that because the programs that we run here don't function as well on a Chromebook. And so you have, plus we trust you. So we do provide laptops, like I said, Chromebooks to ninth grade, laptops to everyone else. We do have mobile hotspots available for your family if you cannot access the internet in your home school division. We do provide those free of charge to families for use at home if you need those, so that's not a problem. We actually have an IT help desk here at our school. We have adults work there, but then also one of the things you can do starting in 10th grade is you can apply to work there as a student. And so 10th and 11th and 12th graders actually work at the IT desk. They serve as low-level tickets. They learn, they help us manage things, they actually try stuff out for us. And then they're overseen by our IT department here. And so that's one of the cool opportunities. So sometimes if you have something wrong with your computer, you literally go and another student helps you. And that's kind of a cool thing. It's also great as an adult when a student helps you through the window. I ring the bell for service, then hand them my machine. But yeah, and then in terms of other supplies, you might need a notebook, pens and pencils, normal things, but really there's almost nothing for school supplies other than bring your computer every day, we give you your charger and all that kind of stuff. There's a small fee for that, but we work with families. We're, thanks to our bigger donors like Capital One, CarMax, and Cisco, we actually have a really awesome financial support program for families who have trouble paying for any kind of fees or even dual enrollment fees. They actually help pay for those. So it's great. All right, so we had a question about the lottery dates. So Mr. Stevens has put up the important dates for the lottery. The lottery will not open until January 3rd. So if you're on our website combing through, because you're like, after talking to these people, I definitely want to apply. You're on the website, you're not going to see it yet. You just have to check back. It opens up on January 3rd. It'll close 100% closed on February 18th. Again, it's a short Google form. You have to fill out 15 to 20 minutes. You just put your name in the hat and we go from there. And make sure you use your email address that you're actually going to check. And then even check your spam. If you're like, I didn't hear anything, it's March 11th, check your spam folder, because sometimes because it's coming from a system, it goes to spam. So that's a good thing to check. And then also making sure when you apply, you have your middle school counselor's email address and your middle school student ID. You can still submit it without that, but it's way better. It just helps us communicate with you better. All right. So we do have a copy of the presentation in the chat. Oh, I see a question about the private school. You can put your private school counselor's email, and it does have an option to check homeschool or private school. And if you are a homeschool or private school student, if you're accepted, not for applying, accepted, we have to have you re-enroll in your homeschool division so that we sync up our systems. But it's not, you don't ever go to that school division. You just literally get your paperwork in with them so that we can work with them. All right, did I hit it all, Mr. Stevens? I want to be on time for our friends.
Yes.
All right, well, we are so pleased that you took time out of your evening on a Tuesday night. We're so excited about our incoming group of ninth graders. Hard to believe, what will they be, Mr. Stevens? Is this the class of 2026 that we're looking at right here? I think it is.
I'm usually on it. Yes, the class of 2026. Yes.
That is it. So we look forward. We hope you apply. We will also have a recording of this presentation available on our website. Always feel free to email us at info@coderva.org if you need additional assistance. And Mr. Stevens, I think I'm going to mute us over here and then just speak with my friends here in the room. But thank you so much to everyone for being here. We really appreciate your attendance, and we will hopefully talk to you soon.